Now, I want to be very clear what necessity is not. Necessity is not feeling like you have to do something because someone is holding expectations over your head. Necessity is not feeling like you have to do something because other people are going to judge you poorly if you don't do it. Necessity is a good type of should motivation. Hi everybody, it's me, Mark Matthews, psychologist and your certified high performance coach. Today we're going to talk about the ultimate high performance habit, necessity. When we talk about necessity, we're talking about a deep psychological drive that compels you to move forward on whatever is meaningful in life for you. In a relationship, necessity is what causes us to focus really hard on serving our partner and showing up for them to the best of our ability. In work, necessity is what gives us the strength to go way beyond what is expected of us and to make something that is beautiful. Now, I want to be very clear what necessity is not. Necessity is not feeling like you have to do something because someone is holding expectations over your head. Necessity is not feeling like you have to do something because other people are going to judge you poorly if you don't do it. Necessity is a good type of should motivation. It's a motivation that comes from understanding that I can't imagine doing anything but working on this project that I'm working on right now, serving the person that I love to the best of my ability, giving everything I possibly can for my children, giving everything I possibly can for myself. Necessity means that you won't quit no matter what happens because you are fervently committed to what you're doing because it really matters that much to you. For me, I'm going to show you necessity in this video. No matter what happens in this video, I'm not backing down. I'm going to stay here with you and I'm going to show you what it means to embody that drive. I feel that drive all the time. It's literally what gets me out of bed. There was a time in my life where I felt a level of depression and just apathy for life because I had really tough life circumstances happen to me that I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. So it was really hard for me to persevere, to keep going. But the thing is that I cultivated a mission to serve and love other people in a way that would make them feel loved forever and no matter what, so that they never felt worthless. And with that mission, I get up every day and I find a way to persevere, to make that a reality in some way, shape, or form throughout my day. And so what I'm going to share with you are 5 questions you can ask yourself each week to check in and see if you're actualizing that necessity, if you're actualizing that value that's going to serve you so well. All right, we get the high performance planner open. Take a look at our questions. When it comes to necessity, the first question that we ask, were you emotionally committed to excellence this week? A lot of people tout excellence as a virtue, but were you emotionally connected to that? Did you tear up once or twice this week when you started thinking about what you're doing? About the people in your life or the things that you're doing to create something magical? Are you hitting that? I hit that at least once a week. And I'm telling you, it's not luck. It's not like you just all of a sudden end up there. It's that you pour yourself into something that really matters to you and you start to notice that you're making progress towards that. That's where that emotion comes from. It's by doing something meaningful, something that matters. So score yourself 1 to 5 this week. Were you emotionally committed to what you were doing and doing it with excellence? 1, not so great, that's okay. Necessity is hard to develop. It's a worthwhile skill, but I'll be honest, it takes time. It takes a lot of effort. And if you're at a 5, amazing job. That means you've been putting in a lot of work. You've been really connecting with something that matters to you. So I'm incredibly thankful for you for doing that and proud of you. Okay, question number 2. Did you remember your why this week and work for it? And that's a better question. Do you have a why? Have you ever done that? Have you ever created a why statement? Have you ever identified what the overall purpose of your life is, or at least one of the purposes of your life are? For me, my why is to empower people to actualize their potential so that they can serve the world to make it a better place. That's all it is for me. I like to get in and work with people to figure out what is it that they crave to do in life and how do they go and use that craving to actualize that potential that they have, that we all have, and then use it to make the world a better place. I love that mission. I'm deeply connected to it. But some weeks I'm more connected to it than others. And that's why every week I look at that question and I say, how connected was I? Am I actually taking time to remember that that's my purpose, that that's what I've decided I dedicate my life to? That's the question. Ask yourself. It's okay if it's low, but just keep checking in and keep looking for that score to raise over time. Third question, did you care about serving others this week? You see, the kicker to necessity, the thing that really takes your necessity to the next level, is when you're doing something in the service of someone you love. Again, not because you feel like you have to, it's required of you, it's a must do because of some, social rule, or, you've just been in a relationship and that feels like your role. It's that you feel like you really want to serve that person because you love them so much or you care about them so much, and you know how to serve them in an authentic way. So let me ask you this week, 1 to 5, did you care about serving others this week? And if not, that suggests you're in a pool of pain. That suggests you're really focused on the inside, on you. And that's okay to go in there to do work, but we live outside of ourselves. We live by serving the world around us, authentically. And so just ask yourself, are you connected to that right now? And if not, I'm going to give you an exercise to help you do that. Fourth question, did you hit your deadlines and finish your duties this week? Did you lay out at the beginning of your week, this is the main things that I'm going to work on and do everything I can to make sure I get them done? Or at least make a certain level of progress this week. You see, when you have necessity, you start setting goals. When you have necessity, you start to say, okay, what's a good plan to actually bring about that outcome that I really, really want to have happen? If you love somebody and you really want to wow them, you plan the date. You at least pick something you're going to do on the date. You don't get to the date, walk out and say, oh, well, what do you want to do? You plan something magical. It might not be super structured. It might just be a couple locations. But did you put effort into that? Did you get excited about that? Did you really set yourself up to have that awesome date with the person you love? That's the question. When you have necessity, that's going to start happening. And so if that's not happening, if you're scoring a 1 or a 2 on that, that's okay. That just means that you haven't really manifested this level of necessity yet. That's all right. That's what we're here to teach you how to do. So don't get too disheartened on it, but just keep making progress and take note of it right now. If you are connected to it and you're feeling it, then go ahead. Go ahead. You could yell. You could say, yeah, right? Like when you get excited wherever you're at, because that's amazing. That means you're on the way to flourishing. You're tapping into the best of your human potential when you start to feel this, when you start to finish the duties that are laid out in front of you, and you start to do it in a way that is excellent and aligned with who you are. That is the juice of life. So congratulations if you're hitting that right now. And the fifth question, did you manage your self-talk to stay on your A game? To cultivate psychological necessity, we got to be really aware of the conversations we're having in our head. Now, I'm going to go against a lot of personal development advice that tries to tell you, okay, you need to be super critical and careful about what you say to yourself because every word you say to yourself is training your mind. It's like, no, I disagree with that. I think you need to be mindful of what you're saying to yourself. I think you need to be patient with yourself as you start to change that conversational tone with yourself over time. You're not just going to get rid of all the bad words, get rid of all the bad inputs and fix your brain. It doesn't work like that. What you are going to be able to do is ask yourself, okay, when I was struggling this week, what did I say to myself? Did you say, I'm a loser, I suck, I don't deserve this goal or dream that I have? That's probably not the best thing to say. Would you say that to a friend? Would you tell them that? Probably not. But, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden you say, I'll never call myself a loser again. It's like, honestly, if you've had that thought before, it'll probably come up again. Instead, I'm going to be mindful of that language. If I found myself calling myself a loser, ask yourself, why are you doing that? Instead, start thinking about, well, hey, okay, I don't feel like I'm doing too well. What can I do differently now? How do I reset? How do I step into who I really want to be? The past is the past. How do I get forward oriented again? See, that's how you stay on your A game. That's how you manage the conversation with yourself. When you start to do that, you start to cultivate necessity. In large part because you stop destroying your motivation. You stop treating yourself in a way that makes you deterred from wanting to do what you actually really want to do. And so this is powerful. Absolutely. Changing the language that you have with yourself and the conversation you have in your head, it's powerful. But don't get caught up if you find yourself saying things that are kind of mean or rough. It's just normal and human. Just be mindful of that. Look to replace it with better things. You do that over time, you do that over the course of 6 months, you change everything. A year? Oh my God. 5 years? Now your conversation's completely different. You're almost a different person that you're talking to, inside your head. And that's a short period of time when you look at your grand scheme of your life. So I just encourage you to take your time, be patient with that conversation. Now, those are the 5 questions. Go ahead, score yourself 1 to 5 on each one. They're down below. See what your score is. Calculate it so you can get an idea, the ballpark of where you're at. But now I want to give you a real challenge that will help you leverage necessity right now. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to think about somebody you love. And if you don't have anybody who pops in your head, honestly, I've been there. A dark place in my mind where I was struggling to connect and care for the people in my life. I was so self-focused because I was in so much pain that it was hard to do this. But it's exactly what I needed to do. Think of somebody in your life that you genuinely love. You care about them so much. I want you to set a goal of expressing your love to that person in the most powerful way you've ever done. I can't guarantee that it will work out extremely well. For some people, that might just be a very thoughtful text to a family member, or it might be showing up to a family dinner and just being fully present instead of in your own head and worried about a million other things because you're used to family dinner and so you're habituated to just kind of checking out at the table. Whatever it is for you, pick someone you want to serve, someone you want to care for, someone you want to show up for, and then sit down and literally write a plan. How would I show them I love them or serve them in a way that would demonstrate I love them in the best way that I ever have before? Just write that down. You don't even have to do it. You should totally do it. I think it'll be amazing. But just the process of thinking about life like this, that will empower you. That's where necessity comes from. You start to get excited about service. You start to get excited about meaningfully showing up to what you're doing. And you give yourself patience and trust to actually execute it. And then you start to feel it. Start to emotionally connect with what you're doing. And when you put emotion with what you really want, that's how you get action. That's how you drive forward. That's how you build something amazing in life. That's how I started building this channel, became a certified coach, built my degree in psychology, everything that's meaningful to me. It first started with pairing an emotion with something I really cared about, which was usually helping somebody in my life. I'll leave you with one story that I think really captures this. This is something that is very meaningful to me, and I'm happy to share it with you. My why, as I've said before, is to help people actualize their potential and use it in the service of creating a better world. But the reason that's my why is because I lost both my parents due to really bad life choices that they made for a large part of their life, and I am on a constant mission every day to, in my mind, save my parents. I know that there are people out there right now who are in a lot of pain, who they need somebody to help give them a shift, to help them get into a different direction, to start to tap into their potential, their gifts, their talents, their desires, their values, so that they actually connect with life, and they need it now. And so I'm doing my best to bring that to the world. If that would have happened to my parents earlier, I believe they'd be alive today, and I'd be talking about how thankful I am for that. But I'm thankful for the fact that they gave me this necessity. You don't need that event to have this level of necessity. You just need to figure out what's meaningful to you, what matters to you, what is something that would really make a difference in the world to you, and then you need to connect your emotion to that, do something about it. I love you guys. I'm so glad you're here. If you got something from this video, please like this video below. Please pour into this community. Start coming along for the ride. Let's build a whole community of people who are real, authentic as they are, and starting to become high performers, which means they're living a high quality of life, high levels of well-being, positive relationships, and empowering other people to do the same. Like the video, comment down below. What do you care about? Who are you going to serve? Subscribe to this channel, and let's do more of this every single week. Let's leverage our necessity, make the world a better place, and just enjoy our authentic connection. I love you so much.